Hey, Thunder fans, welcome to a special extra edition of Off the Tracks. We're here with the goaltending consultant for the Bloomington Thunder, Corey Wogtech, and I appreciate the time that you took here. And let's kind of talk about the goaltenders for this organization and what they mean to this program. Obviously, coming away with a couple wins in the last weekend, with sweeping the weekend against Chicago and Team USA, the best 98s in the country. These two goaltenders for Bloomington played pretty well in that little segment. What can you tell us about their performance?
I was extremely happy with their performance. Obviously they had a little bit of a bumpy ride here, everyone as a group, and having the opportunity to take not only 2 wins on a weekend but 3 is invaluable. Obviously it helps with their confidence, it helps the entire team as a whole, and I was extremely impressed with their effort going forward.
So let's talk about that confidence too. For goaltenders, I mean, it's invaluable, really. Like you said, their confidence, how good that is. How much does it play into a goaltender's head when they have confidence going into the crease?
You know what? It's tough to explain how important it really is to a goaltender. They talk a lot about goaltending being a mental position, and when it comes to how you feel about your game, your ability to prepare for your game, I just can't state how important it really is. And when you lose that, things just become extremely difficult. And when you have it, things just seem to simplify. So, considering the situation at the beginning of the season a little bit, there were some ups and downs with these goaltenders, and it seems like they've stabilized that a little bit. And hopefully the confidence that they've taken away from this weekend is something that they can continue to use moving forward.
So let's talk about the 2 goaltenders and kind of technically what it is about each of them and their strength really going forward. And I think we'll start with the veteran here, David Jacobson. We'll start with him.
Yeah, David, you know what? He is he's a veteran goaltender. Obviously, we're fortunate to get him from Sioux Falls. He has experience in the USHL, and he's a 94 birth year, so he's one of the older guys. He's kind of been around. He understands what it takes to win at this level. He's had success in this league. So I'd say the biggest thing that he brings to us is just that kind of stabilization. He brings the experience, and he's a type of personality that other players on the team can learn from. Logan Holliday, obviously his partner, that's something that he can learn from. Having a guy like David who's been in the league, who's kind of been through it all, where Logan is making that transition from the North American Hockey League to the USHL, which sometimes can be a little bit of a bumpy transition. It takes time for those guys to work through the kinks a little bit, and the 2 of them together, the experience that David has is something that is invaluable to Logan. From a technical standpoint, obviously they're 2 completely different goaltenders. Logan is just a hard-working, battle-type goaltender, and he's continuously trying to work on that, keeping that as an attribute in his game, but being able to basically simplify his patience a little bit to have a little bit more success at this level, where David is the opposite of that. He feels comfortable in the net. He's a patient goaltender, and at times he probably lacks a little bit of battle. So they're really a great pairing because what one lacks, the other has, and on a daily basis they have the opportunity to look across the room and learn from that individual. And I think they're both trying to mend their games, take a little bit from each other, and so I feel pretty fortunate to have them as a pair.
So in that time that we've seen the 2 goaltenders mesh and we've started to see them kind of build into this one unit, what's the biggest change that you've really seen individually from both of those guys, just from the beginning of the season where they did pick up those first early wins, we're riding on a bit of a high, then a little bit of a slump, and right now where it's on that high again?
Well, I think for David specifically, it's been his work ethic. It's not that he was never a hard-working goaltender, but on an expansion team with a little bit of a younger D-core, you see things that he might not have had to experience when he was in Sioux Falls. So he needed to be a little bit more responsible for his leg work. He needed to have the ability to battle for secondary shots and rebounds, maybe situations that he wouldn't have faced as often last season. He was seeing more here. So that was a big change for him. It's a big adjustment. As far as Logan is concerned, like I said, it's kind of the opposite of that. He was running around a lot in the North American Hockey League and he had great success with that. Unfortunately, when you get to the USHL and guys have a little bit more patience, when you battle at that on situations that aren't necessarily the best for battle, it's easier for those guys. They have a little more patience, they wait for you, and they have the opportunity to put the puck in the net. So I think both of those guys have basically taken the things that are weaknesses in their preparation or their technical skills, and they've made those things a focus. And it takes time. The team as a whole was struggling a little bit for some time, and obviously a large part of that was the goaltenders, and we take responsibility for that as a group, the goaltenders and myself. But I think that they have done a great job of having a great attitude, good practice habits, and those practice habits are finally starting to come up in their game, and they're having the ability to control the situations a little bit more than they might have early on. So it's good to see. It's
a developmental league, and we're really starting to see it from these goaltenders, really starting to build off of each other. But let's talk about your career and where you came from. And last year with the Indiana Ice, they won the Clark Cup, and obviously a defunct organization right now, and they're trying to work their way back into the USHL again. But you were familiar with a guy like Vince Pedrie, and what did you kind of take away from a Clark Cup winning team here in the USHL and now moving to an expansion organization?
Well, you know what? I think anytime in any league you have an opportunity to win a championship, there's so many valuable lessons throughout that year. Fortunately, Indiana had the opportunity to do that last year, and I feel extremely fortunate to be a part of it. So hopefully the things that I learned during that season, they kind of pop up as you go along. When you see things, whether you're struggling or succeeding, being able to be a part of that last year and watching you win from start to finish and kind of ride the highs and the lows, it helps to put things into perspective. It helps to kind of prepare or basically pick up preparation or ease off on preparation a little bit, because you know that those things have made you successful in the past. So it's really just fun to be in the room and to watch that happen and to watch kids work through the development stage of their games. Our goaltender last year, Jason Pulowski, who ended up being MVP of the Clark Cup while we won, he struggled early on too. So hopefully some of the lessons that him and I were able to go through last year are things that we'll be able to implement into the goaltenders now that maybe had a little bit of a struggle early on as well. But as far as an expansion team is concerned, hopefully that experience in Indiana is something that I'll be able to bring to the goaltenders that are here, and hopefully that'll put us in a situation where we have an opportunity to be in the playoffs and to move forward from there.
Well, we saw Jason Pulowski earlier in the season. We'll hopefully maybe able to see him again as we're up in Green Bay this weekend. A little bit of reminiscing there between the two guys.
Sure. It'll be interesting to watch the two. So.
Well, I appreciate the time here, Corey. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll have to get you on the mic sometime when you come around in the future here.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. That's Corey Wogtech for your Bloomington Thunder, the goaltending consultant. Thank you for joining us here on Off the Tracks. We'll be giving you all the coverage from Stretch Internet, the portal.stretchinternet.com/WJBC. Be sure to check out all the coverage from this weekend in Green Bay and Cedar Rapids as Bloomington takes on the Gamblers and the RoughRiders. Until then, for Corey Wogtech, I'm Brian Tossi saying so long, and we'll see you next week. Hey Thunder fans, it's another edition of Off the Tracks right here on BloomingtonThunder.tv. Also catch the re-air on Cities 92.9 at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday mornings. We're here with our first guest, Defenseman of the Week in the USHL, Vince Pedrie. And Peds, I know first off, congratulations on the honor, and thank you for taking the time here to talk to us.
No, thanks for having me. Thank you.
So the second time here on the mic, and we'll try and get into a little bit that we haven't really talked to you about this season, but first and foremost is getting that Defenseman of the Week, and I know you're a guy who's all about the team, but congratulations on getting that honor, and what's it been like for you over the last week and moving forward here now?
It's been pretty cool. I mean, it's just a huge honor, and I'm pretty lucky and fortunate to play with such great teammates, and I get a lot of help from them, and without them it's definitely not possible. So it's been pretty cool. Just kind of doesn't really change anything what I do from day to day, but no, it's been awesome.
So in that month stretch, I guess there was a bit of a rut that this team was going through in the early months of November, and then in one of the hardest stretches of the season so far, I think it was 6 games in 9 days, you guys really turned it on. You and a lot of the other guys really started to step it up in those last 6 games. What was the real turnaround for this team? And I know that there was some good hockey being played, but really the wins just are starting to fall your way.
Yeah, I mean, we had a tough stretch there with some real tough opponents, and I think that we just kept our nose to the grindstone, and the team kind of stuck together, and we weren't winning games at a time, but we were playing good hockey, and we we were sure that the wins would kind of piece together, and fortunate enough they did, and we kind of got a little streak going here now.
And the system is one thing that Coach Williams always talks about, just getting it into the system and really starting to, get everyone to buy in. Are you seeing that from guys in the locker room, that everything's starting to fit together, guys are starting to mesh?
Absolutely. Team chemistry is great, and, if we stick to the system, you're going to see a positive result. And it may not always come in the form of a win, but we're going to play to our system, and, that's the way to do it.
So in the last week or so, it's been a lot of home games. Now we go to the road, send to Green Bay, and then up to Cedar Rapids as well. How do you guys really transition now, as you had the full week of practice to get ready for these two opponents this coming weekend, and focus on those two games this weekend on the road?
Going on the road is always fun. We're kind of just taking it one game at a time. We'll focus on Green Bay, play them, and then head over to Cedar, and hopefully we'll come back on the weekend with 4 points. But going on the road is always fun for the guys. It's kind of get away from the billet houses and your roommates with some of the guys. So it's a lot of fun.
Talking to Vince Pedrie right here on Off the Tracks, first segment of 3 coming at you. Van Barr and Ryan Siroky will be on the mic in just a little bit, but Vince, getting ahead of myself already. So Vince, you were the guy that scored the ceremonial teddy bear toss goal and picked up that marker in the game against Chicago. What's it like seeing the teddy bears rain down? I don't know if you did it anywhere the other teams you were with, but was it pretty cool just seeing all the teddy bears rain down to the ice?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because I knew it was teddy bear toss, and I guess just before the game I kind of forgot about it. It wasn't really on my mind, and when I scored I started seeing stuff thrown on the ice, so I was kind of confused at first, but then I was like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of teddy bears out here. So it was pretty cool. I don't think I got hit with too many teddy bears, so that was good.
It wasn't anybody throwing any garbage on the ice. It was just a good cause, right?
A lot of teddy bears.
So talk about the cause and being able to be a part of a hockey team that's being able to give back to the community and give back around the holiday times like that.
It's really important, especially for the community here. It's kind of cool that we get to do that for Toys for Tots, and the teddy bear toss is awesome. We kind of look forward to it. It's a date on the calendar that everybody kind of circles, and it's a lot of fun.
I know you have a very kind of set celly, but I was expecting maybe a little bit of anticipatory celebration after scoring the teddy bear toss. But like you said, it was kind of in the back of your mind. Did you have anything that you were kind of planning and it just slipped out of your head?
No, I had no clue what I was going to do. I was just happy it went in, and then I looked for my teammates. So.
All right, so then let's kind of move to the other aspect of it. We're now through a third of the season, and I know the college aspect is on your mind. And I think also you started to register for classes as well and getting yourself ready for that college jump. How's it been juggling a little bit of college classes, getting ready to make that next step?
It's been interesting. I start full-time January 12th, and it's going to be hard trying to juggle a full-time school schedule and hockey, but I think it's only going to prepare me for next year. And then going into Quinnipiac next year, I'll kind of know what it's like to try and balance full school schedule and play hockey. So it'll be kind of a learning process, but I'm pretty excited for it.
And that's one thing that a lot of people don't really key into, is that right now it's the whole life right now is hockey, because you haven't been taking classes. And then to get yourself ready to kind of manage your time, how much goes into that, really preparing to become a student athlete? How much time does that take to really plan out your days?
It's going to be different. I mean, I graduated in 2012 from high school, and I haven't taken a class since. So it's going to be a different thing going to class and coming to the rink and trying to manage homework on top of that. But it's gonna be good. I'm kind of looking forward to it.
So you had a visit to Quinnipiac, and I guess the question that everybody has going into college is, what are you most excited for? What are you most scared for? I think we'll start with the excited part. When you're headed to college, what's the most exciting part?
I'm excited first off to kind of go back to school finally, and then just to be a Bobcat's going to be great, and play at the arena there. It's beautiful. It's state of the art, so I'm pretty excited for that.
And then part two of that question, what is the most frightening thing, really? I mean, a lot of people say it's moving away from home, but hockey players have already known that life, and they've already known how to do that.
The most frightening part is probably going to be going back to school. So, it's going to be different. I haven't done that in a while, so I'm not necessarily nervous for it, but I'm going to need some extra help probably after the time I've taken off.
And then the other thing about college life is the dorm life. Have you thought about the dorm aspect of it? Because right now everybody's with their billet families. While you have some support from your mom and dad, you're away from them, but you're also not fully on your own right now.
Yeah, it's going to be different. When I took my visit, I stayed in the dorms, and I'm kind of excited for it. I think it'll be fun for a while, but I'm sure after, a certain period, I'm going to be kind of over the dorm life. So it's been great, like living with billets, and, you still got some support, but, I'm kind of looking forward to living on my own.
Talking with Vince Pedrie here, finishing up right here on the first segment of Off the Tracks. We'll have Van Barr and Ryan Siroky on the mic in just a little bit. But Vince, let's get back to kind of just winning the honor of Player of the Week and really what it kind of means because of some of the guys that have gotten it in the past and where this league has been. How does it kind of put you in perspective of just having a solid week and now looking forward and not getting caught up in that you got to move forward because there is a lot of hockey still to be played in this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a huge honor, but it doesn't really mean much if I don't follow it up. Nobody remembers who won Player of the Week in the middle of November come April. So, as long as my team sees success on the ice, that's what's most important. So,
and spoken like a true assistant captain too, in that aspect of it, and that aspect of it, I think, is a different thing. Now through 20 games, and you're fully starting to see the difference between last season and this season. What's it like taking on that leadership role for this program?
It's been a bit of a learning process. I don't know if I was fully ready for it at the start, but I think I'm filling the shoes just fine, and hopefully I can take a positive way at this and kind of show guys what's the right way to do things. And I just hope guys will respect me in the locker room, and that's what matters.
So one final thing, just headed towards the holiday times, and know it's going to be a big time break for you guys as you're off for games, at least from the 13th until the 27th when you guys hit the road again. What is that stretch going to be like for you guys, getting some time off and just getting away from the hockey aspect to trying to just take some time with the family?
It's going to be nice. I think it's always kind of refreshing for the guys to go home and see mom and dad and siblings, but I know after a week at home, you're kind of ready to play some games and hit some people. So I'm sure everybody will take their stuff home and skate, stay in shape, and you can't really mentally check out. So you gotta keep your head into it and worry about the next game.
Well, Vince, I appreciate the time, and again, congratulations again, Player of the Week. We'll look for more of that here in the next coming weeks and next couple months here.
Thank you.
All right, that's Vince Pedrie, defenseman and assistant captain for your Bloomington Thunder. We'll be right back right after this. Next on the mic is Ryan Siroky here on Bloomington Thunder's Off the Tracks right here on BloomingtonThunder.tv. Hey everybody, welcome back to Off the Tracks right here on BloomingtonThunder.tv, catching the re-air on Cities 92.9 right here for the Bloomington Thunder's Off the Track show. We've got our second segment coming at you. It's Ryan Siroky. He's back on the mic for the second time this year, and glad to have you back here, Ryan, after, I think the last one was the college commitment one.
Yep.
right after that. So it's another big step here as we move forward into this weekend where we head to Green Bay, and that's where you hail from, not originally, but for the last 2 seasons. That's where you've been with that organization. So kind of talk about the aspect of going back to Green Bay and seeing the environment and getting ready for that whole aspect of it.
It'll definitely be a bittersweet return, that's for sure. No, I've been looking forward to this game since I left Green Bay in the summertime. So I'm really excited to go back there. It'll bring back a lot of good memories, but at the same time, I want to beat them really bad, so it'll be a lot of fun.
So just like kind of Matt Mendelson too, in the preseason we were able to head up to Green Bay, but you were also not with the program at that time. You were still with the Des Moines Buccaneers. So this is the actual first return to Green Bay. What do you remember most about that arena? And can you kind of give anybody some hints as to how the boards worked out there?
No, definitely the arena, just how big it is. It's a really special arena. It compares to a lot of college ones. I think it holds, for hockey, 8,500 people. And so it's state of the art, just a really beautiful arena. So it'll be a lot. It's pretty hot in there, but it'll be exciting.
That's a little interesting too. If it's a hot arena up in Green Bay, which is, I guess, not too uncharacteristic after you come from the outside. You want to be inside of a hot arena to watch some hockey. But the other aspect of it, too, is just getting to know some of those connections and who you've stayed in contact with, really, from that Green Bay team, and how much of an impact it made on the early aspect of your USHL career.
Well, my first year, we had our core group of guys that came in with me. So, for example, I played there for 2 years with guys like Jordan Gross, he was my roommate, Nick Schmaltz, Jake Linhart, Christian Melanin, who's on Muskegon now, Sebastian Weberg, and Connor Hurley. That was kind of our main group. So I still stay in contact with those guys as much as possible. But guys on the team that are still there, I'd say Junior Gates, RJ Gasevich, and Anthony Walsh mostly.
So then the other kind of thing I'd like to pull out of that question too is Justin Schmaltz, and just being around him, and what kind of player was he like to get drafted in the NHL draft, and how, have you talked to him about that aspect of his playing career and what it was like for him?
He's definitely a special player, that's for sure. But no, he actually doesn't like to talk about it that much. If you ever met him, you might think one thing, but he's actually the most modest kid I know. He'll only talk about that stuff if you ask him a question. But no, he's a special player on the ice. Just some of the stuff he can do just makes your jaw drop.
And that's a true hockey player thing too. It seems like everybody's very modest, doesn't like talking about them stuff, which is why it's so hard to get some questions here against you guys here on Off the Tracks. But let's kind of talk about you lately, just being in this stretch of 6 games in 9 days, and boy, the team really turned it on over the last couple of games. And I think just talking beforehand, I think you picked up 4 points or so in those games, and really we've started to see the comfortable aspect of Ryan Siroky settle down with this program over the first third of the season. What was it like working in those 6 games and getting the team right back to it?
It was big. We went on that 9-game slump there, so that kind of hurt the guys' confidence. But at the same time, we were still playing good hockey, and we just couldn't come out with a win. But after that, just to get those first couple wins and then get the points back on the board, it's really helping the guys' confidence coming into this weekend. So we played good hockey. We battled all 60 minutes, and thankfully we came out with I think 9 out of 12 points.
Mm-hmm. And nobody likes to point watch too, especially in the standings this early. But at the same time, when people look back on a season and they start to see little slumps and things early in the season, they're thinking, okay, well, that's the things that cost us a playoff run. So how conscious is that in guys' minds as we're going through the next 2/3 of the season?
It's a very big point. Especially for first year guys in the league, they don't really understand it as much. So if we lose a couple games, we'll get it back. But every point matters in this league. And so when we're down in April and we're looking back at the season, if we're in playoffs or if we're out of playoffs, you can look back at that 9-game slump and say, hey, that's 18 points we missed out on. Like my last year, we with 1 game left to go, we were tied with Muskegon and Chicago, and we played Muskegon in our last game of the season. Whoever won went to the playoffs. It's that tight. So it's a very competitive league, and you got to bring your A game every night.
We're talking with Ryan Siroky here on Off the Tracks. Here in the second segment, we'll have Van Barr on in just a little bit. As we get set for the Bloomington Thunder's away weekend. They'll be up in Green Bay this Friday and then Cedar Rapids on Saturday. Both 7 o'clock starts in those 2 hockey games. And Ryan, I think the other aspect that we touched on in your last segment on Off the Tracks, but we didn't really get to dive in too much to the college atmosphere and what's it like getting prepared to go play for Miami, and also just kind of getting back into that student athlete mode as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited, a little nervous as well to get back in the swing of school. I've taken 2 years off now, but no, it'll be good. I'm excited to get there this summer and work out, and then hopefully have an impact on the team come the season time. So, and
then like we just talked to Vince about too, getting into that time management mode, and also trying to plan out. Am I going to take some classes beforehand? Do I focus on it once I get there, and do I really try and juggle? What's the idea for you? Are you planning on taking some classes now, getting yourself set, and starting to plan out those days as well?
This year I'm not. Last year I took 2 English classes to get my freshman English out of the way, and then decided to focus on hockey a little bit more this year. But I'll be taking my ACT again in a couple weeks, so hopefully getting a higher score to help get into the business school. But I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you.
I know the ACTs are always a tough one.
They're no fun. I don't like them.
A lot of studying going on for Bloomington. And then the other aspect of moving into college life, like we said with Vince, is the dorm aspect. How tough is that going to be, and starting to get into an actual roommate situation now?
Yeah. It'll be different, that's for sure. But these last 2 years, I've actually shared a room with whoever I've roomed with, so I think I'll be used to that part. But it'll be a lot more fun on my own, I guess you can say. But at the same time, a little weird. I'll be, 2.5 years older than everyone else in there. I'll be turning 21 in the dorms, so old grandpa, I guess.
The other thing to watch out for is definitely keep an eye on the dining room food. I'm not sure how it works in Miami, but keep yourself away if you can from some of that stuff. Yeah. So now we head towards the holiday breaks, and you get the little stretch of an all-star break, and you get some time off, and this team more so than any other with that break from the 13th through the 27th. What's the time going to be like for you? And I know you're headed from a long way away, headed back to Manhattan Beach to be with the family. So what's it going to be like to see everybody?
It'll be a lot of fun. My family actually just came out for a week for Thanksgiving, so it's really nice to see them. But just to be home for 2 weeks is, you can't ask for much more, especially in how long our season is. So. I'll bring my equipment home, skate and work out every day, but also enjoying the beach and laying out. So can't wait for the sunshine either.
Not too many people can say that around the Christmas time.
I'm pretty lucky to live where I am. So.
All right. Well, Ryan, I appreciate the time here, and best of luck. Have some fun on the beach and kick back and relax.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. That's Ryan Siroky for your Bloomington Thunder. We'll be right back, and we'll have Van Barr on the mic right here on Bloomington Thunder's Off the Tracks on bloomingtonthunder.tv. Hey, Thunder fans, third and final segment coming at you here for Off the Tracks, the Bloomington Thunder's Coaches Show. As we get you set for this weekend, Bloomington has 2 games on the road against the Green Bay Gamblers and the Cedar Rapids RoughRiders. Our third and final guest is Van Barr, one of the rookies for this Bloomington Thunder organization. I appreciate the time that you're taking out here, Van. I know it's we had to get you back here to finish up the Off the Track show, but. Let's kind of talk about you and where you've been and kind of where you're coming from. You're a younger guy in this program who came from the Omaha AAA club organization last year, and you and Tarek Baker kind of put up some good numbers with them last year. And just talk about your roots and where you came from for hockey.
Yeah, originally from Kansas City. So I played for Russell Stover program growing up as a kid. And I played there all the way up until last year when I moved to Omaha, just because of, better hockey, better players to play with, and it worked out and got me here.
So then just moving, talk about the growing up aspect of playing or living in Kansas City. There's nobody else on the team that's from the Missouri area, and what's it been like growing up in Kansas City?
Yeah, hockey's not as big down there, obviously, but There's 2 other kids that have committed out of Kansas City that I'm good buddies with, and but no, hockey's actually grown down there since I've moved away with the new CHL, or I guess their ECHL team now with the Mavericks. But yeah, it's getting bigger. But as I was growing up, I had to drive 45 minutes to the rink in the morning with my dad. So, but.
That's not bad. It's tough to grind that out, but at the same time, it's always fun to get that time with Dad. And then the other aspect I got to ask you about, Kansas City Royals. How was the vibe coming for you towards the World Series with the Royals and everything?
Yeah, whenever they were winning, the city was going crazy. I didn't get to go back at all, but just social media and all my buddies and their Snapchats and stuff. But yeah, the city was going crazy, and everybody just kind of rallied around them, and it's a cool thing to see coming from Kansas City.
So tell me about being in Omaha last year and what it was like to play for that organization and play with Tarek Baker last year and kind of have both of you guys join this organization this year.
Yeah, Omaha, it was a great city. I loved playing there. Dave Wilkie was our coach last year, and I think hands down I've learned so much from him, and I give him credit for getting me here. And yeah, me and Bakes have been good buddies we've known each other since we were growing up playing against each other, rivals and stuff. But yeah, coming together and playing with each other last year was pretty fun. And then after I got the call, he called me in the summer. I was actually playing golf And he called me and he said that he got traded to Bloomington, so I was pumped about that. And then next thing I did, I made sure I texted Coach and got the billet house with him.
Well, I know I'm going to regret asking this question, but please tell me about your Twitter hashtag a little bit and what in the world that is.
Yeah, me and Banks, we got a Twitter hashtag. It's hashtag BB Combo, which stands for Baker and Barr. And it's just kind of been our thing for the last year and a half or however long we've been playing together. It's just our thing.
Well, I mean, we'll have to use that sometime. Sometimes this season, you guys got to get into a connection on the ice and grab a goal and assist on the same play. We'll pop that together.
Yeah, I mean, we're both left wingers, so I don't know how much that's going to happen. But
Hey.
see if I can switch to center for a shift or something, see what Coach can do.
If it happens, it happens. All right. Well, let's talk about the trade the joining the organization and becoming one of the tenders preseason, and just what that meant for you to know that the coaching staff and this organization had the confidence to really set aside a pick that was outside of the draft to bring you in.
Yeah, when I got the call, I mean, I was pretty excited. And just knowing that before the draft, you knew where you're going to be, and you knew talking from other guys and my advisor, just knowing it was a good organization and good owners, good coaches, and it just kind of, it was just a good feeling knowing that you're in a good spot and they expect you to play and put up numbers and have confidence in you.
Does it just take the weight off your shoulders too, and knowing that, all right, I can come in, kind of get into the preseason and know where I've got to go and just kind of focus on playing my game? And it also, I assume Coach Williams reached out to you early to kind of let you know what the team's expectations were moving forward as well.
Yeah, it definitely weighed off my shoulders. Coming into camp, like, I didn't have to be nervous about making the team or anything. It was go in there, just play my game. And I mean, I did that. Had a great camp, and then with the preseason and stuff too. And, I mean, it's definitely an adjustment coming from 16s, but I mean, with Coach Willie's confidence in me and all the coaches' help, it's been an easy adjustment.
So you had the first preseason goal, so technically the first goal ever scored for Bloomington. You also had the first goal ever scored for Bloomington in the regular season. And in the last weekend, you started to turn it on again. You picked up 2 goals in those games. What's it been like to have those honors and starting to get everything going on the score sheet and having the team really pick up those wins over the last weekend, 2 weekends or so?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. When I got the first one in preseason, all the guys were kind of giving me some crap because they said it doesn't really count. So I guess I had to go out there and get the real one too. And no, Coach showed me a little plaque that he got with my name on it in the first inaugural goal or whatever it is. But yeah, what was the other?
Just the aspect of playing these last couple of games, playing the team's been playing better, picking up a couple goals in those games. What's it been like to get the wins? Yeah,
like I said, with like the transition coming from 16s, it takes some time. Obviously, being a younger guy, but I mean, I think just recently in the last month or so, I've been a lot more comfortable, been playing my game, and been lucky enough to find the back of the net.
Talking with Van Barr here on Off the Tracks in the third and final segment. Bloomington has a couple games coming up this weekend on the road in Green Bay and Cedar Rapids. 7 o'clock starts. You can also catch the pregame show on WJBC.com through portal.stretchinternet.com/WJBC. The broadcast starts at 6:45. With the pregame show, we'll have all the content for you there. And Van, we're just kind of finishing up here. One of the younger guys on the team, but you still have already made the college commitment to know where you're going in the future, and obviously the letter of intent is something to sign later on, but just knowing that you're anticipated to go play at Western Michigan University, what's it been like for you, and when did you make the decision that early to play there?
I made the decision about the middle of the season last year, and after I visited there, I just kind of felt like it was the place I wanted to be. And talking to some of the guys that played there and just the coaching staff, Andy Murray, just the history behind it and him, like, it was really exciting. But what was the other part?
No, what was the reason for making the decision so early?
Like I said, like it felt right, and just off your shoulders.
And how does that take into you, and knowing that you don't have to make that decision later on? Now you can just focus on playing hockey and getting better for Western Michigan.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about who's at the games or impressing people. You play your game, and I mean you're expected to do that night in and night out. But it's definitely it's a weight off your shoulders.
So you've got a lot of time before you have to make that jump to college hockey. But for you, what's the thing you're most anticipating about going to play college hockey, and what did you like most about Western Michigan?
The atmosphere and just the fans that rally around that team, and I mean the facilities are nice. There's going to be a new rink actually, and the year I'm supposed to go in. So that'll be pretty cool.
And tell us about the juggling too, because obviously the college aspect of it, you still need to finish up school, and and you're right in that boat right now with some of the other guys who are finishing up the high school classes. How's it been managing your time versus being out on the ice for practice and games and everything?
Yeah, I mean at the beginning of the year we started off at the local high school at Normal West, and it was hard because of the times and practices. We'd have to rush from school and not have time to get to the rink and stuff. But after we switched to the online school, it's been a lot easier. And then having Bakes and Jalen in the house too, and we always kind of sat down every day, sit around the table and just do our work together, and then get it done with for the day, and then have the rest of the day to do whatever we want.
Finishing up here with Van Barr on Off the Tracks, and just one more question here, Van, as we get kind of finished up. It's the holiday times coming up, and I know you're a little ways away from home for Kansas City, but you guys have a nice long break. How's it going to be to get home, see the family, and spend the holidays around the folks? Yeah,
obviously it's going to be nice. I mean, we haven't got to go back at all this year, so that's pretty different for me. We got to go back a couple times last year, but I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see the family. They've came up and they've seen me a couple times, play some home games, and no, yeah, of course, good to see the little brothers and make fun of them a little bit.
Rag on them in the snow a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Sure, many snowball fights will come up during the
fun.
break. All right, Van. Well, I appreciate the time here. We'll get you on the mic sometime in the near future, but best of luck unless we don't talk to you for a little while.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Van Barr, and that's all the time we have here on Off the Track. Stick around next week. We'll be right back, but also catch the games coming up this weekend on Friday and Saturday. 7 o'clock starts with the pregame show starting at 6:45. Until then, for myself, Brian Tossi, for Van Barr, Ryan Siroky, and Vince Pedrie, we're saying so long. We'll keep the Thunder rolling this weekend against Green Bay and Cedar Rapids. So long, everybody.